Hi, he's Mattyman.
And he's Vannyboy.
And you're listening to The Rusty Playground, a Gen-X-centric podcast where we're talking about everything involving the coolest generation. Primarily known as Gen X, we were also known as the Latchkey Kids. We were called that because we were the first generation to have both parents working outside of the home. So we would have to let ourselves into our house. We would have to fix our own food. We would have to make sure we don't burn the house down. And that gave us a lot of leeway in life, but it also gave us a lot of responsibility. Responsibility we really didn't want, but the freedom we liked. And we would go out, ride our bikes until it was dark. We'd see that light come on, hear your dad whistle, and it was time to come home. In the early 70s, when we were growing up, we would have Saturday morning cartoons and cereal. We would have soap operas with our grandparents in the summers. We had a lot of freedom. We had a lot of responsibility, and we had a lot of pain and laughter.
And we also had a lot of hee-haw.
A lot of hee-haw.
Yes, lots of that with your grandparents. You know you did.
If you know, you know.
Yes. It's right. Grandpa.
Grandpa.
What was it? What's for supper? Grandpa?
Yeah. Oh, Grandpa, what's for supper? Yes. Hee-haw. Look it up. Or don't.
Yeah. Yeah, or not.
And because we grew up with, until we were teenagers, only 3 channels, we all had the same reference points. So when you'd go to school, everybody knew who Kiss was. Everybody watched the same shows on television. Everybody talked about those shows on television. Unlike generations now, who luckily for them have nearly unlimited choices in their entertainment. But the bad thing is a lot of kids don't know what other kids are talking about. They don't have that reference point where we did.
Yes, they have their memes, but so did we.
Yes, only our memes were memes of the mind.
We call our podcast The Rusty Playground because it's like the playground of the 60s that's now rusted and started to decay in the 70s. Not that's a bad thing. It just means it's not sparkly new anymore. Something that kids now would not know anything about with the plastic covered safety they have on playgrounds without the gravel and the asphalt and maybe a little less blood.
A lot less blood. MTV was a big influence on Generation X, a big influence on Generation X. Music was catered just to us, and the effect that MTV had on us and on culture at the time pretty much cannot be overstated.
But we will.
We'll overstate it.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, MTV was like, you actually could sit there and see this like small video of a performance of a song. It's crazy.
Played with instruments.
Yes. It's like going to a concert, only you're just sitting in your living room. So I guess what we could say is Generation X was probably one of the first generations to actually have a cable channel devoted to them. Not just a TV show, but an entire channel.
Yes.
And that made us almost to the point of thinking we're the center of the universe.
We aren't?
But yeah, almost the center of the universe. It is weird to think that we don't hear about us anymore. So we're doing this so you can hear about us.
Right.
We didn't really go away, you see.
See, most people in these generations, since, you know, they had the baby boomers, and the baby boomers were our parents. And then you had the millennials, and then you have Gen Z and
Generation Alpha.
Generation Alpha. Yep.
They keep coming.
They keep coming, right. The world
We're still here.
Yet. That's right. If it didn't end in the 80s, it probably never will. So, but so millennials don't like boomers. Boomers don't like millennials. Gen Z doesn't like millennials and definitely doesn't like boomers, even though they're very much like boomers. And boomers confuse Gen Z with millennials.
But once again, no one's talking about us.
Yeah,
that's probably a good thing.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah. We're going to keep it fun. That's really what it is. And if anybody wants to talk about any of this stuff from this time, they're more than welcome to chime in and let us know. And we, you know, if we can all think Enos was a ridiculous spinoff of the Dukes of Hazzard from an already ridiculous show, then everyone's welcome.
That's right. And the point of this podcast is to tell you what it was like growing up in Generation X all the way from being born in the mid to late 60s, having fun through the 70s, having lots of fun and being catered to in the 80s, which was the best decade of all time, let's face it. And then the 90s, we were given or created actually grunge. And then from then on, we were just adults. And so, boo, that doesn't matter. But the point of this podcast is not to besmirch the other generations. We're not going to crap on the boomers. We're not going to crap on the millennials, and we're not going to crap on the Gen Z or Alpha because, hey, you guys have your thing and we have ours. So come back and check us out regularly, and you'll get to have some fun, maybe have some laughs, and learn a little bit about love. Now, you won't learn anything about love, but you'll have fun.
And there will be no crying.
Everyone is welcome on the Rusty Playground.
Yep. Just get your tetanus shot, please.
Yes.